All right, let's move away from there. The Labour Party has expressed shock that the unprecedented desperation of the All Progressive Congress (APC) to cling on to power at all cost will lead it to post a pre-crime alibi to an alleged plot to assassinate its presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Arabambi Abayomi, I beg your pardon, said this in response to claims by the APC's presidential campaign spokesman, Mr. Festus Keyamo, SAN, that Obi was plotting to stage an assassination attempt on himself and blamed the APC.
Abayomi, in a statement yesterday, said the attention of the Labour Party was drawn to APC's most bizarre and unprecedented desperation through Kayamo's statement. He noted that the Labour Party considered Kayamo's claims as quote-unquote a devilish act and a subtle way to gain unmerited sympathy in a bogus attempt at clandestinely employing crude primitive tactics to win the 2023 presidential election through fraudulent means. Earlier, we were joined on the news by the spokesperson of the APC All Progressives Council Presidential Campaign, Festus Keyamo, who spoke on this development. Let's take a look.
Festus Keyamo, spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, joins me now on the news to speak on the development. Good to see you, Festus, and thanks for your time. Now, you claim Peter Obi was planning to fake his assassination attempt. Could you, if you will, tell us what informed this weighty claim?
Thank you very much. The crux of that statement, which we issued yesterday, was that there was a trending video by Peter Obi whereby he read a statement. He gave his phone to another colleague or an associate of his to read out a statement. And he claimed that that statement, which was a WhatsApp message, was purportedly made by a certain Tinubu group. And he himself, not even his associate, it was himself that mentioned the name of my candidate, my principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he said that message emanated from us, from our group. And that message, the crux of that message was that the message was calling on all Yorubas not to vote for Peter Obi. And that if they vote for Peter Obi, then automatically they are voting for a seaport in the South and the Southeast or something like that. And that all of a sudden the Igbos would even leave Lagos and Lagos would lose. Now, the origin of that message has been discovered to actually come from one of his own supporters who pasted that message on Facebook.
Has that been established? Festus Keyamo?
The name of the supporter is Powell Glad Legbe. I repeat, Powell Glad Legbe. Everybody should go to his Facebook page and look at his previous messages supporting Peter Obi and supporting IPOB. Powell, then another name Glad, GLAD, and another name LEGBE. That's Powell Glad Legbe. Now, this is a message that he now purported, a whole presidential candidate, he now purported to now say that it was from a Tinubu group. Now, tell me, how are we not going to react to that kind of message? So, do you expect us as a responsible presidential campaign council to keep quiet to that kind of inciting message from a presidential candidate? Was it not condescending enough for a presidential candidate to come on video to make that kind of message in a country where we are managing to keep our fault lines together, keep ourselves together, make that kind of incendiary comment and then post it everywhere for everybody to see?
Well, that was Village Square Africa with Sulaya Lede, of course, NC Continental Prime, I beg your pardon, with Sulaya Lede, speaking with Festus Keyamo, spokesperson of the APC presidential campaign. And, like we said before, it's going to be, there would be a lot more of these, bits of drama here and there in the build up to the 2023 elections. I did get to see that video on the day that it was put out, maybe 2-3 days ago or so. And it was he was, of course, seated with, I believe, for other Labour Party members, and having, a random conversation. And then he took his phone and showed them, a message that, was maybe probably being broadcast on, different platforms. And, the next person to him read the message out, and all of that. And of course, that has, now been the one to create a lot of controversy. Of course, Festus Keyamo, of course, was also in the news, saying that the Labour Party candidate was going to manage an assassination attempt and some of all of that. I don't know. I'm completely just.
It's actually
I'm overwhelmed, really.
It's looking very dirty right now. That's what it's looking like. There have been mixed reactions, of course, on social media. Some of the view, of course, some are team Peter Obi, some are team Festus Keyamo. Some others have said that Festus Keyamo has come out to cry foul, that this is pure gaslighting. Some have actually said maybe this is what their actual plan is. But nobody really knows what the truth is. And I do hope that some investigation is done into this matter, because coming out to say that someone is planning to stage manage an assassination attempt against themselves is actually a very strong claim. I do hope that he has strong evidence to be able to back that up.
Yeah, but one thing I would mention is, I think it's also important that we get to a place where we start to have proper conversations on the things that are most important. What do Nigerians really want in 2023? What are their desires in 2023? Who are the persons that should take over office in 2023? Who has a better, cabinet? Who has better plans for the country? What is the baggage?
The unfortunate thing is that the people that should ask this question
are the ones having these
one
very big.
On the other hand, the other, some of them are already planning their exit. The majority of the people who are going to be voting, a lot of people who are going to be voting at these elections, unfortunately, and they're not as politically sensitive or politically aware as they should be.
Sadly.
So what we're saying is it's no longer an issue-based campaign. It's a campaign targeted, it's a smear campaign that is being run.
Yeah.
This is not the first time we're seeing a smear campaign run, and this is not the first country where we'll see a smear campaign being run. Everyone tries to diminish the personality of their opponent in the light of the public.
Absolutely.
So that the public can, in some way, maybe then transfer their votes to them. So it's not surprising that this is happening. But the one thing we Nigerians must remember is not to be distracted by all the drama that's going on.
I agree, but that's going to be hard, because, like you said, it's more of a smear campaign that is being run. There's more of tribalism, that is colorations with the campaign.
Bigotry.
Exactly in the campaign. And the main questions that Nigerians should really be asking, they aren't asking anymore. There's more people who are leaning towards voting. There was also a video of some pastor, some church leader, who was talking about, how he will vote, a person from his tribe. It doesn't matter that. How can he, a person of this tribe, vote somebody else for a different tribe? And this is a church leader, which was very, very sickening. So there's a lot of all of that is going on, and it's completely distracting Nigerians from asking the core questions that you'll be asking. Remember that 2 of these presidential candidates, among actually 3 of the 4, have not had any live interviews, have not had any live conversations with the press, have not had any, not even a debate,
maybe
just a
assume
conversation.
that campaigns haven't officially started. That's why we haven't heard from them. So let's hope that campaigns are started. No, they have. We've had some of them. We interviewed Peter Obi here on News Central. We interviewed Atiku Abubakar here in News Central as well. But when we're talking about like an active, it'd be nice to have a campaign, a presidential campaign. Let's hear what their plans are for us.
Yeah.
What is your plan? What is your strategy? Unfortunately, our current administration did not speak to the media a lot.
So you remember I said before that some precedents had been set in 2014.
Yes, because our president didn't show up for the presidential debate.
And didn't speak to the press in years. Didn't have any conversations with the press in years. So these are some of the things. And sadly, yes, I understand campaigns haven't started. There's still time for them to have these live interviews. But at this point, I don't think the electorate really even care about what will be said in those interviews if they
I think that's the first step to take, really. What will be said at the interview, it's a first step to take.
All right. We have Nameka Oberi joining us this morning to discuss more on this as a political analyst. Good morning. Thanks for joining us and thanks for your time. All right. Can you hear us, Mr. Oberi?
I can't hear you. It's faint. I can barely hear you.
Okay. Good morning. I'll try to be more audible. Can you hear us better now?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm straining my ears.
Oh, apologies for that. We hope that we can fix that. But I want you to, quickly share with us, what do you make of all this drama, concerning Peter Obi and Festus Keyamo and the elections?
Actually, it's very obvious that, I've said it to anybody who cares to listen. The APC, as a ruling party, has nothing tangible in terms of achievement to campaign with. And over time, they've resorted to hitting up the body politic, playing ethnic and religious cards as a way of leveraging on the poor literacy level in Nigeria. It's estimated that over 52% of Nigerians are actually illiterate, not being able to, receive information, sieve it and analyze it so well without, injecting ethnic and religious sentiment into it. So APC is actually planning on cashing out on this kind of sentiment. So rather than resort to issues, rather than debate issues, discuss on how they plan to rescue the 100 million people that they pushed into extreme poverty, if given the chance, how they plan to rescue the 16.5 million kids that are now out of school and put them back to school, a number that was 10 million in 2015. They are not telling us how they are ready to put to work over 55 million Nigerians that are either unemployed or underemployed. They are not telling us how they want to rescue the over 2 million Nigerians that are in IDP camps when Nigeria is not at war because of APC's ineptitude. They are not telling us how they are going to stop the massive looting of our oil resources. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, Nigeria is now suffering from oil price increase, which has never happened since independence. In fact, since discovery of oil at Olobri in 1956. For the first time in the history of this country, a super tanker can come into our waters, stay 1 month, load our crude resources and disappear. It will take foreign countries to remind Nigeria that our oil has been stolen. So the rot, the insecurity in Nigeria is so much that the APC has nothing in terms of tangible achievement to campaign with. So they are the ones overheating the polity. Interestingly, PDP is actually the main opposition party. But it's dawning on APC that where the real threat is on the third force led by Labour Party and Peter Obi, which is being spearheaded by the over 50 million Nigerian youths who are disgruntled, who are determined to take back their country. So when you guys say is a fallout, there's no fallout here. What you are seeing here is the dying spasm of a dying party with corrupt leadership at all levels. So Nigerians are ready to take back their country. Nigerians will never allow APC to go back to Aso Rock. So what you see panning out is APC trying to distract us, trying to gaslight us with ethnic and religious politics. And unlike in 2014, when they play such dirty games and got away, the Labour Party and the P2B candidates led by the youth are massively ready for them to give them back double fold what they're dishing out.
And Emeka, you really mentioned some of the issues that Nigeria is grappling with. How do we move from politics that is a smear campaign to issue-based politics, to Nigerians holding these presidential aspirants accountable to all the changes that we want to see in the country? How do we transition from politics that is a smear campaign to an issue-based political campaign?
If you watch the developments, the only candidate that have been discussing issues is P2B, and to some extent Atiku Abubakar. I watched the interaction between Atiku Abubakar and the manufacturers live yesterday on one of the national TVs, and I was mightily impressed at his level of articulation and his understanding of the issues. So it's not a case of, if you watch clearly, the only party that is not addressing the issues is the APC. To some extent, Atiku is addressing some of the issues. We have asked this question. Check the records. The only person, one of the very few, is P2B. He has been addressing the issues. He has been telling us how he wants to ramp up power from the present level to 20,000 megawatts within 4 years. And that is what we want to hear. And the House. He has been telling us how he wants to, create jobs, remove us from consumption to a productive economy. He has been telling us how he plans to reduce the atrocious cost of governance. I give you an instance. If you look at the performance of the 2021 budget, total revenue accrued that accrued to Nigeria at the federal level was 8.9 trillion, both from oil and non-oil revenue side. Total expenses, both debt and non-debt recorded expenditure, was about 10.3 trillion. How can you spend 10.3 trillion naira, more than what you earned, for 200 million people, taking care of the profligacy, the criminality, the wickedness, the lasciviousness, the impunity of less than 1 million people at the federal government level, both the civil servant and the political office holders? P2B is simply saying, he is discussing the issues. I am going to cut the cost of governance. I did it before when I was governor in Anambra State. And it's even very clear here that he will bring this atrocious cost down to about 4 trillion naira, allowing us to be able to have excess 6 trillion to invest in critical infrastructure. He has told us from day one that he's going to stop the massive crude oil thievery in the Niger Delta. How can we, in a same country, tolerate over 1 million barrels of crude oil looting every day? The Auditor General's report in 2019, the man appointed by Buhari, told us that in 2019, over 170 million barrels of crude oil, in today's market value, $10 billion, is unaccounted for. Till today, nobody arrested, nobody prosecuted. That is the impunity of the APC.
All right,
so
speaking about
the P2B candidacy has been discussing issues. And that is what we want the APCs to come down from their date after the candidate said is going to play dirty. And that is what they are doing.
You've spoken about
I think the press here has a role to play in shaping the direction of the discourse, and to calling a spade a spade. It's like the media saying herders, farmers clash. When it's very obvious that the farmers are in their farm, in their land, and herders are trampling upon their land. It's not a clash, it's invasion.
If you'd allow me, please, to highlight something you said. You've made reference to arrest and prosecution. Now, there have been mixed reactions to the statements made by Festus Keyamo. Some people have been calling, for him to be invited for questioning because they have the opinion that the statement made was sensitive and volatile. How do you suggest that, this would eventually play out?
Festus Keyamo should immediately be arrested by the DSS for questioning. Anyway, this is not, it's not like, it's the character and nature. He's a rabble-rouser. He's very responsible as a senior advocate of Nigeria. Don't forget that it was the same Festus Keyamo that modeled up the investigation of the assassination of Bola Ige in 2002. It was Festus Keyamo, as a lawyer to one of the suspects, that forged an affidavit against a Fayo. And they modeled up the investigation that the man even had to come to court to deny that he swore such affidavit. Festus Keyamo is not fit and proper to be anywhere near public office in same environment. It is appropriate that the police and the DSS should investigate Festus Keyamo and interrogate him, because what he's trying to do is red herring. He's already preempting what they want to do. Till today, we don't know who killed Funsho Williams in Lagos State in 2003. It's the same people who are now coming and already preparing the ground to kill a presidential candidate who is actually ahead of the pack. So it is very, very instructive and important that the
Mr. Berry,
should invite Keyamo and interrogate him.
Yeah, it might be a reach to say that these same people, are coming together now to kill a presidential candidate. That's a very strong allegation. Mr. Berry.
Please, can you repeat again?
I'm saying from your statements, you're saying it's the same people who had allegations, from the past that are coming together now to plan to kill a presidential candidate. I'm saying that's a really strong allegation. There's no evidence that
it's not an allegation. The facts are there. Bola Ige was murdered and assassinated at Ojaro, the Federation. Who was the lawyer that modeled up the whole matter? It was Festus Keyamo. If you're old enough in Nigeria in 2002 to follow up what happened, you will have understood that Festus Keyamo is a rabble-rouser. In 2003, the PDP leading candidate in Lagos State, Funsho Williams, was murdered I think 2000 and 2007 was murdered. 2007 was murdered in a very shrouded circumstance in his home in Dauphin Estate. Till today, that murder has not been unraveled. He was a leading candidate, poised to become the governor of Lagos State by all polls. So look at the people within the same APC enclave who are now trying to do this race herring, trying to overheat the polity by indirectly threatening to keep it to be. You will see that they are the same band of people. These records are out there.
Right.
Was Bola Ige not murdered? Bola Ige was murdered.
Right, Mr.
Who was the
Berry.
lawyer that messed up the whole matter against one Frayo? It was Festus Keyamo. Was Funsho William not killed, assassinated? Funsho William was assassinated. In which state? Lagos State. Who is the candidate today? That
Mr. Berry, unfortunately, we will not.
APC nominated candidate.
Mr.
And
Berry,
what was it then? He was the governor.
thank you so much. We've run out of time, unfortunately. We would certainly have you back again, and it's always great to have you join us on the Breakfast Central. Thank you very, very much for your time this morning.